You are listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Oh, my. If you've never been to the Funny Farm on a Friday night, you are in for a treat. Now, we're goofy every day of the week. But something happens to us on Friday night. It's like this cloud of insanity falls down upon us, and we don't know what we're going to say. We don't know what's going to happen. Most of the time, we don't know what we're doing. So you're in for a real treat. You're listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. That's right, live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. And trust me, it's a whole lot safer here in our world than it is in yours. And we want you to come in. The chat room is open, and we always encourage people to kick off your shoes, kick up your heels, let your hair down, meet people, chat, talk, dance, because Miss Ernestine has the gang out there. They've already loosened up, done their calisthenics, so nobody breaks anything or pulls any muscles. She's got them all wound up. And are you guys out there on the dance floor ready to get this thing done? They're ready. Now, how about you goofy people that's on the outside? Are you ready? Yeah, you're ready too. We have a massive crowd here at the Funny Farm tonight, both inside and outside. They're still coming in. We even have them sitting up on the limbs of the trees. And every now and then somebody will fall out because they forget where they're at, and they'll start tapping their foot on something. And they'll snap their fingers, bob their head, shake their booty, and the next thing you know, they're on the ground. But somebody picks them up, dusts them off, and they go right back at it. And so everybody's a little bit goofy here at the Funny Farm. I don't know why they laugh when I say that, but because it's true. Everybody's a little bit goofy here, including yours truly. I'm probably the most goofiest one out of the whole bunch. But we're delighted to have you, whether you're down the street, around the corner, across America, or somewhere around this great big world. Yep, we have listeners in foreign countries. And I would miss somebody if I started naming them off, but we are delighted to have each and every one of you. We just left our live stream show with Cass Clayton just, 15, 20 minutes ago. And now we are delighted to have her back with us on the radio. The lady is working hard tonight, and you are in for a real treat because we are going to play all of her songs on the Play Nice album. And she'll be chatting with us and talking with us while we play the tunes and so on and so forth. So you are in for a real treat. Cass, it's good to talk to you again.
I'm thrilled to be here tonight.
We had a fun time, and man, time went by so fast on the live stream show.
It did. That was the fastest hour and 10 minutes I've experienced in a long time. It was so much fun.
This modern technology, it just blows my mind of how things can be done nowadays. It's delightful. It's probably the one thing that's keeping a lot of people somewhat sane. I think we're all a little goofy about now, but Uh, we're still able to communicate this way, and as I've told you before we come live on the air on the radio, I sure do miss those hugs and those warm handshakes and those, patting somebody on the back and looking them in the eye and saying, something, I really love you, and mean it from the depths of our heart. And but we've had a good time thus far, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have more good times in the time that we'll be on here. I do want to say thank you very, very much from the depths of my heart for taking the time and be with us on the live stream tonight, and then taking more time to come up here. Yeah, there I go, up here up here on the radio. I don't know where up here is, but we're up here. Up here on the radio.
Well, it's just...
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's just pure joy because, as you know, we're not out there doing live shows very often right now. So it's wonderful to be talking with people and, sharing things that we care about and staying creative.
We was talking about your songwriting and so on and so forth, and with this downtime, lockup time, tucked away time, you said the old creative juices are really, really flowing. When we come out on the other side of this, I am anxious. I bet there's gonna be a ton of music come from every direction that we can think of. Don't you think?
Oh, I really believe that, and all kinds of art forms. Music and paintings, and I think it's going to come from a different place. I think people really had time to reflect. I mean, I know I spent a tremendous amount of time reflecting about what I want my life to look like. We had gone 3 albums in a row, an EP and then 2 full-length albums. So 3 years with 3 projects, really fast. And when this whole shutdown happened, I didn't realize how tired I was. So for a while, I was just like, wow, I really need naps. I didn't realize I was this exhausted. And then, I caught up with that, and then I cleaned every corner of my house. And you just go through these stages, and then you get back to the creativity where you have some new juice and new energy. But I really think that most of us have had time to go, wow, humanity is involved in creating something here. Do we like what we're creating? Is this what really the way we want to live? And I think the music is coming out of this deeper place for me of, love and what humanity can be and what are we creating here? In fact, the first song that we'll release out of this, which will probably come out in about a month, is about that. It's really about how powerful we are.
And I think that there's going to be, we're going to hear the vibrations of an appreciation for life. How appreciative we are for life and life itself. I think we're going to hear a lot about that. We're going to hear a lot of heartbeats about that.
I believe you're right. I think just the enormous amount of gratitude, if you have enough that you can get by, even if it's harder right now, it is a time to be grateful. This is an unprecedented time in humanity where we can make decisions that will literally change the way humanity perceives itself forever. And we can move that toward separation and division, or we can move that toward love. And I think a lot of people are voting for love. I hope they are. I really feel that it's important that we self-reflect right now. Something went awry, and how do we make it right?
We're going to kick this thing off. If I don't say the word right, correct me. Is it Dawes County?
Dawes, yeah. It's the county I'm from in Nebraska.
And how did this thing come about?
Well, so Dawes County, I grew up in a small town called Chadron, and my grandparents had a farm nearby close to Baird, Nebraska, both in the western panhandle of Nebraska. And I haven't been back there in many, many years. And in fact, after my grandmother died, I never went back because my dad, there was no money in farming. A lot of these small farm towns don't have any industry left. There's nothing left to do because unless you have a massive, enormous plot of land, you can't live off of that money anymore. And even if you do, it's a huge gamble. So a lot of people from my generation didn't go into farming, even if their fifth generation or farming went back through their family tree as far as they could see. It stopped with us for a lot of people, or stopped with our parents. So there's this, that song is reflecting on how I won't be going home and I won't know the people I grew up with. And it's kind of a sad song, but I think for me, it was important to write. It was cathartic because so many of us will never go back to our hometown because there's nothing to go back to.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Friday Night in Denver. And it is. It's Friday night in Denver. And it's Friday night here at the Funny Farm. And we are featuring the music of the Cass Clayton Band. And here we go. Off we go. Ladies and gentlemen,
I
Cass
mean,
Clayton and the Cass Clayton Band. Wow. There's a lot of nostalgia in that song, Cass.
there is. It's just one of those things that you always want to go back to your hometown. And that song is kind of me pretending that I don't want to go back. But, there's, so with so many of these farm towns, once your parents realize they can't make a living there, and if you don't have a lot of relatives, you're not going to go back to that place.
Right.
But they almost have an imprint. I don't know how you feel about, like, if you've gone back to the place where you grew up, but I sometimes go back to my husband's town where he grew up, and we still farm his farm there, ironically. It's in Indiana. And there is just such a powerful feeling to walk into the house that somebody grew up in,
Mm-hmm.
and to see, like, friends that they grew up with. And I'm fascinated with that.
I and I don't say this too many times. In fact, this is probably the first time I've ever said it on the air. But and everybody knows my bubble don't find the center spot all the time. I'm a little bit goofy, but nonetheless, mostly every night before I drift off to sleep, and trust me, when my head hits the pillow,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just about gone in a heartbeat. But just about every night,
I understand.
I go back home, and
Wow.
I hear sounds. I told you I'm goofy. I hear the sounds that I heard
Yeah.
when I was growing up, and I can smell the garden,
Wow.
and I can smell this, and I can see. It's almost like watching a movie. I can see what we did when we were kids, playing in the schoolyard, and doing all these other things.
Yeah.
And I lay there sometimes and I think, wow, if I could go back just for an hour, I wonder what it would be like. So yeah, that
Wow.
nostalgia thing is that is a strong element. I think that's within all of us.
Yeah.
And man, that as soon as that thing started playing again, I thought of the old homestead and all those things that I just mentioned.
Yes.
That is
Even the smells. Like,
Yes.
I can smell things in my memory that are the scents that I grew up with.
yeah, and I think, wow, what it's delightful,
Mm-hmm.
but somewhat sad because it's
Yeah.
it's gone. But like a man once
Mhm.
told me, he said, Espenlaub, the only thing that we're creating while we're here on Earth is memories. He said, be they good or be
That's
they
right.
bad, the only thing that we're doing is creating memories. So make sure that you create good memories. That's always stuck with me.
Oh,
And
that's really powerful.
it is powerful. And he told me that. Oh, I wasn't that old when he told me that. And I've heard him tell me
Mhm.
that over and over and over again in my head for years and years and years and years. The only thing we're creating
Wow.
is memories. Little things.
Wow.
Cass Clayton.
Little things. Well, it's kind of about what you're talking about, actually. It's so, after this again goes back to how busy life had gotten after a few albums in a row. At the time, we didn't have a management company, and so if we needed to get a record out to 500 radio stations, I would just sit up all night. And Jeff Gray, who owns the studio where we produced, is a dear friend, and sometimes he would come over and we'd watch a music movie and just stuff envelopes and put our CD in the mail. It was very homegrown. We did everything. We literally did everything. And so I started realizing that I had lost touch with the simplicity that my life has always been. Like I've always been a simple person, basically, in that the things that I care about are family. I need a fair amount of silence, nature, my friends, laughter, and all of the things that were important were kind of in the shadows of this project. And all I was doing is work until 2:00 in the morning, most nights, for months and months. And I knew that was part of it, that it was important to do that if I wanted the album to do well. And there's no reason to spend all of this energy and put your heart into something on that level if people aren't going to hear it. So I knew that it was a short-term thing, but I'd also, gotten really tired. And Little Things is about the universe within. The first line is, there's a universe where we can meet. It's smaller than the eyes can see, but there's no evidence, no clear sign, so everyone just passed it by. And I realized, this is kind of what our world is doing right now. We're passing by the inner world, thinking there's stuff out there for us to go get, and important things for us to do and see. And, that song was a message to myself to get back there. And I really had fortunately gotten back there, because those things, if you're aware of the way you want your inner world to be, a reflection of love and peace, you have to create it inside first. It really can't happen outside. So that's what the song is about, really.
Ladies and gentlemen, very, very important. It's very, very big, but it's all about little things.
got a million
Little things. Boy, how often we forget about all the little things. My goodness. We are playing the songs from the Play Nice album with Cass Clayton and the Cass Clayton Band. It's Friday night in Denver. It's Friday night here at the Funny Farm. And for you that are just joining us, we have just left a short time ago our live stream show where Cass was on camera, and we had a delightful hour-long conversation. And now we're here on the radio, and we're featuring the music of the Cass Clayton Band. Play Nice, that's the title of your album, right?
It is. It's the album title, and is that the song you're going to play next?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Play Nice, it really came out of this interest that I've always had. You know, I grew up listening to blues. My dad was into blues music, and I started out when I first started singing, I was singing blues music, blues and soul. But blues has a tradition of having double meanings. I think you and I talked about this last time, actually. It's called a double entendre, or, you know, where one meaning of the song is obvious. It's just the clear-cut meaning. And then there's, in the history of blues, the second meaning was usually kind of bawdy, or it was like, you know, inappropriate, or had sexual innuendos that were inappropriate. So I always was, you know, I always got a kick out of hearing those songs because they were kind of taboo. And, you know, I grew up in the Baptist church, and so I love that stuff. So when I was writing, I wanted to write something eventually. I didn't know when it would come out naturally, but I wanted to write a song that had a double entendre, but maybe a little bit more subtle version, not, you know, so, you know, that would be sort of elegant. So Play Nice evolved out of my love for music, and how when you're at a live show, if we're doing our job and we're really, really one with the music, you know, really everyone in the room falls in love. It's just this beautiful, you have these moments where everybody's together. And, you know, so there's that meaning, you know, play nice music. It's just, it's a sensual thing that happens when somebody plays nice. But then, you know, this song is actually about falling in love with that musician, and, you know, it evolves into a more intimate scene by the end of the song. So rather than doing this, you know, this kind of crass version, I did it in my own way that would allow me to tell the story of how sensual music is for people. We are sensual beings, and music is a way that comes out that's acceptable, because, you know, we're so brought up in our puritanical backgrounds that, especially for women, there's really not an opportunity to appropriately express that stuff. And a lot of times when I hear pop music and sensuality is expressed, it's really not sensual. It's really overtly sexual and uninteresting. Mm-hmm. It's not the way I think humans really function. It's kind of grotesque, actually. Not to be a prude, but it's just, there's so much depth in our sensuality that's not expressed through music, and I wanted to talk about that.
Wow, I never heard
that's Play Nice.
I never heard it put that way, but that is well put. Very well put.
Thank you so much.
And then we're going to play two of them here, Play Nice and B-Side. Now, every time I play this, when I'm here by myself, I'll pop it on. As soon as I see B-Side, this is what always, and I know better, this is what always comes to me. You know,
okay.
When I was a kid growing up, we had the great big records. I think they were 78s or whatever they were. And we had the 45s, and then we had the 33 and a third. But on the 45s, you know, you'd have the main song on one side, and then the B side would be whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, and every time I see B-side, I think I could see that old record player that I had in the living room. You just plop it on the floor, plug it in, and put the 45s up there, and they'd fall down one at a time. Most of the time. Sometimes they'd fall down.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes they'd get all discombobulated, and 2 or 3 would fall down. But the B-side. Tell me about the B-side.
Oh, well, you got it. I mean, it's got a double meaning. I mean, so many songs the songs that I like to listen to that other people have written have layers to them, and you find different meanings in them over time. But the first 2 meanings of this song were exactly what you're saying. So the B-side of the album, like when you and I grew up, like my dad had a huge record collection, and I also started buying records when I was probably around 8 or 9 years old. And that was a big experience. You buy the record, you open the album cover, all the lyrics are in there, the pictures of the band, it smells a certain way. You take the record out, you put it on the player, put the needle on. I mean, it was such an experience rather than now we just push a button and listen to Spotify or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this was much, much more like, really tactile experience. And the B-side was often, to me, where some of the gems of the record were hidden. Like the A-side is where you put what your record company thinks is going to be your sure hit, and the things that are going to be digestible for everyone, or at least they think they will. And the B-side is, some of my favorite songs came off of the B-side of the record because they weren't the obvious thing, but maybe they had a much more interesting message, but weren't the pop hit type of song. So with regard to the second meaning of B-side and what the whole song is about is when we first meet somebody and you start dating, you're really showing them your A-side. You don't want to crack out the B-side on somebody on the first date because they're just going to be like terrified. So it's really talking about, if we're going to stay together, you're going to have to like show me what's the ugly side, what's the part that you don't want somebody to see, but maybe it's the most interesting part about you that I want to know because I care about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about that.
Opening those records, buying those records, taking them home, opening, putting them on the player.
Yeah.
It was intense. It was,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was an intense experience, exciting.
Yes.
You'd almost tremble sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, you were
absolutely.
Yeah, you were just elated. So, ladies and gentlemen, Play Nice,
yes.
followed by B-side.
I see you walking in a gym, find your place at the bar. Pretty girl to the right, on the left that old guitar. Seen you here before, bottom floor, on the main backstage. Guess it wasn't time to know you, so we went on our way. When you lay it down, you know how to move the atmosphere. And I'm leaning in, the whole crowd just fades and disappears. Don't really know you, but you cut through to my softer side. And I almost didn't notice when they turned on the lights. Play nice, play nice, play nice. Play nice, play nice, play nice. Not here for romance, but by chance you walk over my way. People all around, but your eyes never wander away. Under the warm sky, you ask me why should we have to wait. play you night and day, running that same song round and round till I wear the grooves away, playing the A-side, over and over and over again. What about the B-side? Sooner or later we got to jump in. I don't know what keeps you up in the middle of the night. What's hidden in your shadows? Do you bark before you bite? Playing the A-side, over and over all night long. What about the B-side? I won't judge you right or wrong. If we're gonna be together, no need to bite your tongue. Some songs are for everyone, but that don't mean that they should go unsung. I want the B-side. Yeah, I want the B-side too. You should know I'm not the one you gotta hide your secrets from. I could dig them out of you. Don't you know I could love that too? And while we're on the subject, wouldn't you like to know what's hidden in between the lines that I'm too afraid to show? Playing the A-side, over and over and over again. What about the B-side? Oh, we got to jump in.
Hey, Cass, I believe
Yes.
that every young man and every young woman that begins a relationship, it should be mandatory that they hear that song.
Oh, that is such a great compliment. I thank you. We spend so much time, showing people the side we went, but boy, the earlier you get honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sure could cut down on the divorce rates if
It really could.
if people listened to B-side and took it to heart
It's true.
and like you said, get honest real quick. Sure could spare a lot of heartache.
It could spare a ton of heartache. It's just,
I think
again, like what you and I were talking about earlier, fear of showing ourselves, our true selves.
yeah. I think I'll promote that. I don't know who I'll promote it to. Anybody
Right.
anybody that'll listen.
Anybody who listens.
I have to check it out and see who's getting married around here, and tell them you got to listen to this before you even make plans. Just sit down and listen to this, and then. Did you show your B-side? How about you?
No, I didn't. That's why I wrote this song. I don't think my husband and I actually showed each other our B-side until we were married for a while, because we fell in love quickly, and we were older, and we got married quickly, and so we knew that what we knew. I mean, again, it was just this intuitive thing. We knew that this was right, and it has been. The challenge was that then I was like, oh, he thinks I like football. Like that kind of stuff. It sounds small, but like, this man married a woman who was supposed to go to football games with him for the rest of his life. He got chipped. And and that's the funny side of it. But really the part that wasn't as funny is that, you know, if you spend the first part of your relationship or your marriage afraid to show who you are, then at some point you feel like you lost yourself.
Yeah.
And I definitely, about 2 years in, I hit that. And you know, then you work through it. But it's just better to be, you know, just be yourself.
After 52 years, my wife has seen my A side, B side, C side, D side, E side, F side, and,
right?
and all the other sides. I always tell her, now, if you ever leave me, I'm going with you. That's all there is to it. So,
so you may as well just stay.
Yes. So you might as well, yeah. And we've got too much invested to throw it out the window now. And besides, we're getting too old,
right,
and too lazy to leave.
Well,
so we'll stick around, A and B and C.
That's a good way to go. I like that. I guess we're 15 years in, and so it's like, you know, you really start to, you know, of course you become completely at ease, and, you know, you build a life together. And then I've always felt like it's just important to always, you know, just take the high road every single chance you get. Not people are going to disagree. Just don't say anything mean.
I'll say, if you could hear me and Mom sometimes, you'd think we just didn't like each other. But it's not. It's
right.
It's not that at all. It's just you know, we just do that. You know, she'll.
That's the way. You know, that's a healthy relationship. People have a banter. They argue sometimes. They mess with each other. That's a healthy relationship. People aren't supposed to be, you know, it's not supposed to be perfect where nobody ever disagrees.
No, it's not all lollipops and sunshine. That's for sure. and I found out.
Not all unicorns.
I found out a long time ago that when she slaps me upside my head, that's the end of the conversation. She won. Over, done with, turn around, walk away. And so the sooner I learned that, the better off it got, you know. So, yeah. And she beats me.
Smart.
She beats me 3 times a day, whether I need it or not. And you know,
I think that's a smart woman. Every man needs a good beating, and she figured it out early.
And I even take her the switch now, you know, because I know when it's time to get a beating. So
you know what? I haven't had one in a while. I know I must have done something.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes just the look is enough for me. She gives me the look, and I'll put some distance between her and I where it's safe. So, no use in crying and tattered and torn. Tell me about those.
Okay, so. No use in crying it's just something my grandma used to say. She was a tough little farm lady. She was teeny tiny. She came over on a boat from Russia, and so did my grandfather. And so these are my dad's parents. And she was just really tough as nails, but super soft-hearted. And so if anything went wrong, she would just say, well, there's no use in crying over that. Let's just move on. And although she didn't cry over big stuff, but every time you leave her house to go back, to your school or whatever, then she'd cry. But, we had this kind of crazy culture growing up with German Russians. Funerals were a very, very important part of the culture. So when somebody died, the funeral was, I don't even know if, I probably shouldn't be sharing this, but I'm too far in to stop now. So the funerals were always open casket. And then afterwards, we would go to this steakhouse. And it was like you just walk through the line and you'd pick all your sides, and then you tell them what steak you want, and then you go sit down with a number and they bring your steak. This can only happen in Nebraska. To have like a 2-inch thick, beautiful steak at a place where you like walk through a line. Mm-hmm. And then all of the little ladies, they were little old Russian ladies, German Russian ladies, they would talk about the funeral, and they would talk about like, they never cried. I never saw any of them cry at a funeral. They would just talk about, they had too much blush on him and he was over embalmed, and like this really grotesque level of like detail. And it wasn't weird to me until I realized as an adult that people just don't do that. That's not what people do. But that's how they processed their grief. They did not cry because they experienced so much hardship. They just were tough. So that's no use in crying. What was the other song you wanted me to talk about?
Tattered and Torn.
Tattered and Torn. So Tattered and Torn was written, I wrote that about just the life, it tears people up and it beats people up sometimes. And so nobody makes it to adulthood without hitting some things that really hurt them. And also watching some dreams fly by that they didn't get to fulfill. Mm-hmm. So it starts out, you've got a book to write hidden down deep inside, but it may never ever come out to see the view. And I think a lot of our dreams are like that. Some of them come true, but some of them don't come to view. And that's a little piece of pain that we carry maybe over that lost dream or somebody who we care about who lost. It's about how we're tattered and torn, but the people we love that about them. We love the torn parts. We love that their edges aren't perfect because that's what makes them interesting.
No use in crying. Tattered and torn.
Sometimes I sing instead of talking, 'cause baby, that's the way I feel. Like everything should rhyme with the rhythm and time. Body swaying like a tree. Wish life was grooving like my favorite song, but sometimes it just drags along. If I should dance instead of walking, the spirit is moving me, and I don't care who's watching, 'cause in the moment I have the key. use in crying, no use in crying. What goes up will fall away. Just when you think you got it down, life will turn around, and you got to move a different way. Listen to the rhythm that you have down deep inside. There's a song that's only yours. Sing it till the day you die. Now they may tell you to think positively, but baby, that's just a lie. 'Cause they don't wanna know when you're in the throes and life isn't going fine. Allow yourself to go adrift. Come on back and remember this. Ain't no use in crying, no use in crying. What goes up will fall away. Just when you think you got it down, life will turn around, and you got to go a different way. Ain't no use in crying, no use in crying. What goes up will fall away. And you think you got it down, life will turn around, and you got to go a different way. You've got a book to write, hiding down deep inside, but it may never ever come out to see the view. Your mind can see the limelight, out of the crowd, exit stage right. But in the world, your dreams are known to just a few. And I wish you would tell me what's in between those lines. What story you're writing? What do you hide behind? And I wish you would show me the way you feel inside. Why do you seem so sad? I wish that I could ease your mind. Tattered and torn, all your edges are worn. I love your story, just like you, tattered and torn. Don't tell me the fairy tale. You know I'm not so frail. I've had my own twists and turns along the road. Will you let someone share your tale? Look underneath the veil. We both know that the cover's just for show. And I wish you would tell me, what do you have to say? And do you think maybe your heart could find a way to let go and show me what's in the storyline? Your questions and answers. 'Cause baby, I can't read your mind.
swinging 60s.
The swinging 60s.
The swinging 60s. The swinging 60s. The swinging 60s show with Harry Burt on Spreaker.com.
Hey, this is Harry over here in Ireland. Welcome you to the Swinging 60s show. Sunday evenings, 2000 hours GMT. I will play Beatles, Kinks, Beach Boys, Carpenters, Elvery Brothers, lots of classic oldies. We have quizzes. We have all things going on here. So Google the Swinging 60s show. Be heard. Come into the chat room.
And visit my friend Harry Burke, all the way over there in Ireland. On Sunday afternoons at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, it's about 8 o'clock his time, but about 3 o'clock Eastern Time here, and you can figure out what your time zone is, you can take a trip to Ireland and you don't even have to ride an airplane. But go visit Harry, the Swinging 60s show. Just Google the Swinging 60s and you will find Harry. You can go into his chat room and he offers virtual moldy bread, stale beer, and all the unwashables are there. A great gang of people. I met some tremendous people there, and they have a delightful conversation. And Harry, he's just the bomb. So visit Harry, the Swingin' 60 shows on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and whatever time it might be in your time zone. You go to Ireland and it don't cost you nothing. So just go ahead on and go. Let's see. You'll See and The Most Beautiful. What about those two?
All right. Well, You'll See. Oh, wow. It's about not living in extremes. About, I've found that one of the things that doesn't work for me is the extremes of dogmatism, either far left or far right, or things are good and bad, the harsh judgment of ourselves. She's a bad woman, those kinds of things. And so it's really about, wanting to live in between, have your fun, but know when you need to come into balance. And that's what You'll See is about. The Most Beautiful was the last song I wrote for the album, and I had told Taylor Scott, our producer and co-writer, that I was going to show up to his place the next day and have a song ready, and because we were really on quite a timeline, because he was getting ready to go on tour, and I hadn't even started the song, so I was just assuming that something would come to me, and it wasn't coming to me. So that night, it was like in the middle of the night, I'm still up racking my brain, and I just started surfing the internet for anything that would be inspiring, and kind of almost in an altered state, because I was super tired and hadn't found the concept that I wanted to get through as something that would be really heartfelt and that I cared about. And all of a sudden I somehow ran across this thing about the history of freak shows, and it immediately just hit me as this sad part of human history where people would sell off their children or a family member who wasn't normal. They didn't fit, and so they would sell them off, and they'd have to go and join these shows and just basically be enslaved to a freak show for the rest of their lives. And it was so sad to me. I can't even express it. So I wrote that song front to back really, really quickly once I discovered that song. And after it was written, actually after the whole album came out, my sister listened to it and she's like, "You're not going to believe this, but during the time that you were writing your album," she's a visual artist, by the way, she was making an installation piece, like a 3D piece of art about the history of freak shows.
Wow.
Yeah. So she and I have always been really connected, and we are just, she's really dear to me. But the fact that we were both, something hit us that personally at the same time was, even for us, that was beyond the normal thing that would be an intuitive, thing for both of us to share. It was pretty far off of the radar.
Wow. You'll See,
Yeah.
and The Most Beautiful.
instead, as if she's not really there. All the freaks that we meet, the pointers and laughers, impaired by conceit, grotesquely two-faced, we crave for the misshapen souls. All the freaks that we meet, God-fearing witnesses, drunk with deceit. Keep your eyes open, the preacher will throw the first stone. The tallest man alive has brittle bones and somber eyes from years alone. Doesn't say much, but his words are true, even though he's pay-per-view. The tiniest couple, a woman and man, they had a child you could fit in one hand. They didn't live long, and the people they came to see the world's smallest grave. All the freaks that we meet, the pointers and laughers, impaired by conceit, grotesquely two-faced, we pray for the misshapen souls. All the freaks that we meet, God-fearing witnesses, drunk with deceit. Keep your eyes open, the preacher will throw the first stone. All the freaks that we meet, the pointers and laughers, impaired by conceit, grotesquely two-faced, we crave for the misshapen soul. All the freaks that we meet, God-fearing witnesses, drunk with deceit. Keep your eyes open, the preacher will throw the first stone.
Don't worry. He'll be all right. That's the fellow that sits high on a perch here at the Funny Farm Radio Studio, and every now and again, well, he just loses it, and down he goes. Don't worry, the Funny Farm EMS team will pick him up and put him in the bucket. In the ambulance. Take him down to the medical facility, and he will be all right. He'll be back. Anyhow. Oh, my. So, doesn't make sense. Flowers at my feet.
Okay, so doesn't make sense was about, falling in love and not being, how, when you fall in love with, and it's going to be, that person's going to be a forever thing, and you just have that feeling it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what this song is about. This is about when you fall in love with somebody and it doesn't make sense, and you're going to get crushed, and you have fallen in love, but it's not going to work out for you. And I think a lot of us have ended up in that situation as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, reflecting on that. And sometimes something is just so powerful that you have to be with that person even if it doesn't make sense, because love doesn't always make sense.
That sounds like
And
like that sounds
yeah.
like something my wife would say. It doesn't make sense. She tells me that quite
And
often.
yet you've made it many years. I think you guys might make sense. Oh, it's funny. And then Flowers at My Feet was actually a song that Taylor Scott started. And he played some of the song for me, and I'm like, oh, that is a great song. And it was about, it's the only song on the record that really came from the vantage point of his touring. They were in a town in Canada, and it was the last show on a tour. They'd been, in a tour bus for a really long time and really tired. And they go into this bar, the guy who's running the club is not in a good mood, and they're just trying to figure out, how can we just get through this last night and get home? And then they start playing, and this older lady comes in with a big bouquet of flowers from her garden, and she just puts them at his feet.
Wow.
Just as a gift of kindness. And he was just like, for the rest of the night, he just sang for her. The band was like blown away by such an act of kindness. That's really what that song is about. And I loved that happened to them. And so we turned it into a song, and it made its way on the album.
Wow. You're listening to Friday Night in Denver, featuring Cass Clayton and the Cass Clayton Band. Doesn't make sense. I've heard that before.
Just when I swore to myself I wouldn't fall apart for a man, and then you came along and turned me down. Wasn't love at first, you satisfied a thirst. Didn't know what was there, but I didn't have a prayer. The way you move, where are you? Watching you from afar. How could I fall? Yeah, doesn't make sense at all. I was happy to forget, waking up with regrets. I thought that stage was over, but now I need a shoulder to cry, 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 singing this foolish song. Think through, plan ahead. I'm not easily misled. Don't gamble, play around. Always been too proud. So why, am I so preoccupied? How could I fall? Yeah, doesn't make sense at all. I toss and turn, waiting for your return. Can't forget your touch, oh baby. The thought is just too much. How could I forget? Doesn't make sense at all. Throw my head back and wonder what's been going on back at home. One more night to go. Don't have a lot to give, but I'll dig it up for the show. Words don't mean nothing. My heart has been hard to find. Flowers just might change my mind. She put the flowers in
that was quite an arrangement. That had a little bit of every different sound. I like that.
Yes, I'm glad you like it. That's Taylor Scott for you. He is the master arranger.
I'm telling you, man. I about lost myself there for a while in that one. Sometimes I lose myself, can't find myself for a while, but I kept control of myself. I didn't let myself go too far. So we're down to the last two songs, Cass. Slow Kiss and Strange Conversation.
Okay, so Slow Kiss is an instrumental. It's very, very short, and it is Tom Amend was the keyboard / organ player on the album, along with John Wirtz. This song was Tom Amend on keys, and he was playing this thing off to the side that it was supposed to go with one of the songs that we wrote, but it was so beautiful on its own. We used it as an interlude. It was just, I literally started crying when I heard it. I just loved it. And so we put it in there and called it Slow Kiss. And then the final song on the album was the last song that we chose. It's the only cover tune on the album written by somebody else. It's written by a guy named Ted Hawkins, who Taylor introduced me to as an artist. And he's not alive anymore, but he introduced his music to me, and I just loved it. Taylor kept throwing out songs like, what about this one? What about this one? And, there were a lot of them that were like, yeah, that could be the end of the album. But when he sent that one, I was like, that's it. That song, I just fell in love with it. I felt it fit with the theme of Play Nice, and that was it. I mean, this guy was a street performer. Ted Hawkins was a street performer in California, and really wasn't very well known in the United States. I think he did some European tours and became known over there. But he just played on a street corner in California, and that was his life as a musician. And he is a brilliant, brilliant songwriter. I like a lot of his songs. Last night, Taylor and I were doing a duo, just kind of at a small private thing, and we played one of Ted Hawkins' songs called Sorry You're Sick. Sorry You're Sick is one of the best songs out there. It's just a funny song. It's about going to the liquor store, and it's really typical of his kind of hit you from the side kind of writing. It's surprising.
Slow Kiss, Strange Conversation.
A strange conversation. My baby called me on the phone. He said that your next lover's gonna be the blues. 'Cause baby, I'm gonna be gone. Day's gonna be dark as the night, and things just won't be going just right. Dearest, the one king on your throne, don't ever leave me alone. For without your touch, I have no love. I have no love. That's why I want to say, baby, 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 longing to hold you near. But can't you hear that all the sweet things I want to whisper in your ear? Because love is gone, and the only thing you got to do, babe, is just come on back home, baby, yeah, where you belong, where you belong. Day's gonna be dark as the night, and things just won't be going just right. Dearest, the one king on your throne, don't ever leave me alone. For without your touch, I have no love. I have no love. That's why I want to say, baby, baby, baby. I want to say, baby, baby, baby. I'm longing to hold you near. But can't you hear that all the sweet things I want to whisper in your ear? Because love is gone, and the only thing you got to do, babe, is just come on back home, baby, yeah, where you belong, where you belong. I had a strange conversation.
And you've been listening to Friday Night in Denver with Cass Clayton and the Cass Clayton Band. Cass, it has been a delight. We spent
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
we spent over an hour and whatever minutes on the live stream show, over an hour and a half here, and I sure do appreciate you so graciously giving us your time. Thank you from the depths of my heart. Thank you so very, very much.
George, thank you. It's always such an amazing conversation with you, and it's incredibly generous of you to spend that much time on our music. And at a time when, you know, we aren't really out playing live very much, it's just wonderful to do something that, like you and I were talking about earlier, it just is part of what we do, and it makes things feel more normal. And, you know, we're writing the next album, and that's all we can do right now. But it just felt really, really wonderful to have a conversation with you, and it just always lights my soul up. It really does.
I'm so glad, because we are honored to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get her music at CassClayton.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Go get that music. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Because you'll be like me. You'll play it over and over and over and over again. It's just nice music to listen to, and it's got meaning. That's what it's all about. Meaning in the words.
Thank you.
Meanings in the music. Cass, please stay in touch. You have
I
my.
will, and you too.
You got my number.
I will definitely be in touch.
Yes, give me a call anytime. I'll follow you on the Facebook and all that other good stuff. And please tell the band members that I said hello.
I will, and I'll be in touch with you soon, and hopefully we'll have some music to share. And I'm just looking forward to also watching the other people you have on as guests.
All righty. As soon as you get that music, let me know.
It's coming your way first.
All righty. Thank you very, very much. God bless you.
Thanks, George. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. What an evening. What a wonderful, delightful evening. Now remember, you can come back and listen to this. You can download it, as many as you want. Do with it what you want. You can listen to all of our previous episodes, all of our previous shows. One Summer All, you can download One Summer All, as many as you want, and then you can distribute it to whomever and wherever you might want to distribute them to. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that have listened to us live tonight here on the radio. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that watched the live stream show this evening with Cass Clayton and then came with us onto the radio, and we listened to her music and we listened to her. It was a delightful, delightful evening. And I want to say thank you to those that will be listening either later tonight or tomorrow or the next day or whenever you choose to listen to this. Thank you so very, very much. Do me a favor as we go on out of here. Charlie's going to take us out. Do me a favor. Take care of one another. Love one another. And do this. This is so important. Don't ever be afraid to tell someone, I love you. I mean, look them dead in the eye, and from your heart, tell them, you know what? You are so very, very important to me, and I love you. It could possibly save a life. So until next time, everybody, from me and this whole crazy bunch here at the Funny Farm, thank you for tuning in. And I trust and pray that God will keep you right in the center of his hand. Good night, everybody.